things are not looking great for 6ix9ine. Just few months back, IRS was auctioning all of his cars and chains, and now they're after him for scamming people.
Rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine is saying goodbye to his jewelry collection because the entertainer did not pay his taxes. The IRS raided his Florida home and seized all of his assets back in April. Among those items were the rapper's Finding Nemo's shark chain and his gold and platinum plaques. Market auctions will be auctioning off the high-priced pieces.
So this is the collection that we are representing here at Market Auctions. We were selected by the IRS to represent the estate of Daniel Hernandez, also known as Tekashi 6ix9ine. We have 63 pieces, ranging from jewelry to handbags to plaques to watches to earrings. Bruce the Shark.
We all knew 6ix9ine was going broke for real, but no one really expected to see the IRS pull up on him. The IRS seemed to have cleaned 6ix9ine out of his most valuable possessions, ones that he has been flexing on the gram anytime he got the chance. In total, they hauled off 63 items, which they put up for auction to the highest bidder. They even took his iconic grills. Whoever bought that goon need to disinfect them before putting it in a collection. His famous Bruce the Shark pendant sold for the highest at $60,000. At least even if his music ain't in high demand, his property is. Even his plaques made it to the IRS auction. Plaques for songs like Gumo, Gooba, and Fefe, and his Dammy Boy album all went to the person who could cough out the most cash. The reactions to this were gold. One commenter said, "Everyone gangster until IRS show up." Another commenter couldn't help but take a jab at 6ix9ine when he said, "Can't snitch on the IRS, that's the real gang gang." And when he saw people going in on him, 6ix9ine hopped on social media to clear the air about why the IRS put his jewelry, plaques, and designer bags up for auction after raiding his crib. Apparently, he did not report his taxes for 4 years and now owes Uncle Sam at least $6 million, maybe more if he isn't telling the truth. Humility was still far from 6ix, who decided to bash rent, paying people for no reason.
Addressing the IRS situation, listen, a lot of y'all don't understand how the shit work because y'all not on that tax bracket, right? What happened was that I didn't report my taxes for 2020, 21, 22, and 23. Those years, I done paid $6 million, $2 million in 2018, $1.3 million 2019. For the year of 2020, I'm at 1.8 million. Over $6 million went to the IRS. Like I said, when you make over a certain amount of money, I think they tax you in the state of New York 54%. Biden was trying to raise it to 62% in the state of New York and California. So I moved out of New York to Florida, where it has different tax laws. Long story short, thank God we have Donald Trump, who's now the president, who's gonna change a lot of tax laws, because what they do is, like I said, I got an open case right now, so I don't want to talk bad about the IRS, but I quote my president, Donald Trump, "These people belong at the border. They just a big gang that comes after your income and everything." So listen, this is not no Airbnb. This is not an Airbnb. This is my house. This is how I really live. Done.
That's a fact.
And who know us, listen, you could be a hater. It's cool. Just remember, you got to pay rent on the first. What's today? Oh, y'all got to pay rent. Listen, you got to pay rent tomorrow. Look at me. Y'all got to pay rent tomorrow. So it's cool to hate, but remember, you gotta clock in at 9 a.m. You gotta clock in at 9 a.m. tomorrow, you gotta clock out at 5 p.m.
He also posted stacks of cash on his IG to convince his fans that he was still rich, saying, "This was the reason the feds did the raid. They broke into this safe thinking there was money in there, but it was only the jewelry." 1 year ago, when I was stuck in AD for 8 months, the feds made a raid for the entire house because I did not report my income for 4 years. And for them, it was seen as I was running and hiding in DR, when the reality was that L could not leave and get to the USA. If you don't live like this without renting, you shouldn't have an opinion. The reactions to his Instagram post was hilarious as hell. One lady who didn't like what 6ix9ine said about tax bracket clapped back saying, "We not on that tax bracket, but apparently you wasn't smart to pay your taxes for 4 years, so who didn't understand, you or us?" But I don't think even Trump can save 6ix9ine from what was coming for him next. The feds were not just after him for tax money. Nah, they are now on his neck for running a whole crypto scam on his own fans. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for 6ix9ine, he tried to pull a fast one on the little fan base he had with an NFT scam.
So I know a lot of you guys are wondering what happened with 6ix9ine's last NFT project. I want to first start off by saying I apologize. I apologize because I jumped in to the NFT community without knowing what an NFT was. I didn't know what an NFT was. I didn't know what crypto was. I wasn't well informed. It was a paid partnership that I took advantage of, and I said, you know what, let me get into something that I don't know that much about. So to all my fans who joined that, I extremely apologize for that being done. What makes this so different, what makes G9 NFT collection so different is that it's not a paid partnership. This is my brand, 6ix9ine News label, 6ix9ine News brand. Powerful team behind this of developers, designers, moderators who are behind this, and I began to love my new team, and I hope you guys enjoy this.
Tekashi 69 dropped an NFT collection called TROLLZ back in October 2021, but right after launch, the whole DV squad did the dash, making off with around $2.5 million. The Discord shut down, the Twitter suspended, the Instagram vanished, and 6ix9ine, well, he came out saying he was just paid to promote it and had nothing to do with it, allegedly. Funny enough, the website is still up, but ain't nobody checking for that mess. A number of victims said that they lost almost as much as $40,000. And get this, after this went down, 6ix9ine still had the nerve to start another NFT scam called Dummy Coin, and even asked people to join up right after he apologized to people who invested in his last crypto bust. This time, people did not buy into the hype. In fact, it was the opposite, because we had people actively warning others that this was an obvious scam. 6ix9ine banned anyone from saying he was a scam with the most immature message you'd see on the internet by far. Cry later when you see everyone here partying in Miami with Danny while you cry in your sad little corner. He encouraged his followers to purchase this dummy coin, promising that the top buyers would get a chance to meet him personally at various international meet and greets. He promoted this event globally, making it accessible for all his fans to participate, despite knowing full well it was fraudulent. However, the backlash was immediate. Angry commenters flooded the post, tagging the FBI and IRS, urging authorities to arrest him again. Most notably, many of these complaints came from his own fans who had fallen victim to his scam and lost significant amounts of money. Somebody in the comments summed it up real quick. This guy is scum. Everything he's done is shady and mostly illegal. If you get scammed by him, IDK what to say. How would you get financially involved with a project of his? Now, with the IRS out here auctioning off his life like a clearance sale, maybe they'll end up selling his freedom too. The way things looking, wouldn't even be surprised.